Welcome to the Fit Face Podcast. I'm your host, Harrison Zocker, and this is the #1 podcast for balancing social life and fitness. This is specifically for people that want to shape the body of their dreams without sacrificing their favorite drinks and foods while maintaining a social life outside of the gym. Thank you so much for being here. Let's get into today's episode. Welcome to episode number 3. I hope your day is going absolutely amazing. I just got back from the gym and am so fired up to get into today's episode because it's something that has truly transformed the way I view health and fitness as well as the way that I coach it. I used to be just such a fitness coach, just straight up fitness coach, but now I'm more of a lifestyle and fitness coach because I want to ensure that my clients can sustain the results that they get while working with me. Because results do not matter if you cannot maintain those results. And before we get into today's episode, I have to give Lane Norton a shout out because he has taught me so much over the years and has truly transformed my mindset as far as health and fitness goes. And a lot of the information within this podcast is going to be through his research. And if you want to find him on Instagram, you can find him BioLane. BioLayne. I highly recommend that you follow him if you just want to learn more because he bases everything on facts, research and facts. And now we could get into why diets are failing. What we're going to go over today is I'm going to start off with some scary stats, scary weight loss stats. Then we'll go over why we should care, a little bit about marketing and how that plays a big impact in how we view dieting, and then also our thoughts on dieting. So what are the scary stats that I was talking about? First, I gotta start off and say that we, as people, we're great at weight loss, but we struggle to maintain that weight loss. Within 1 year of weight loss, nearly 80% of people will have relapsed to their pre-diet weight. Within 2 years, that number is 85%. Within 3 years, that number is over 95%. So over 95% of diets are failing. And worse yet, 1/3 to 2/3 of those people regain more weight than they had before they even started the diet. If we want to live a long time and live healthy, we need to prioritize our health, our nutrition, our fitness, and it doesn't matter what level you are, but what are you doing to better serve your body and mind so you can live the longest life that you possibly can. So that's why it's important and why you should really care. And the reason why the majority of these diets are failing is because, we've all probably done this. We've all viewed a diet as a beginning and an end. We've also thought we had to restrict certain foods or like a point system, low carb, low fat, healthy versions of food, clean versions of food. So let's talk a little bit more about beginnings and ends to a diet. It's just the short-term mindset. Everybody's thinking about the benefit of just getting skinny for that one certain event that's coming up in 8 weeks. And there's just zero plan or desire to continue to maintain that progress that was made. So just having a short-term mindset is not gonna benefit us in the long run. So we gotta be thinking about our future selves. And I'm just so thankful that I've finally, over the years, kind of started envisioning a long-term nutritional and fitness approach. And how many of you feel that you have to restrict foods during diets? This is one of the most complicated things. I used to do it. I'm guilty of it. I used to avoid fruit. Because I was terrified that it would automatically store as fat because there was sugar in it. But in all reality, it's calories outweighs anything. So just looking at the tiny little details is just gonna make you stress you out and make what you're doing not sustainable. Another way we view diets is point system. So this is like Weight Watchers. You get so many points per day. What do you do on those days that you do go over? You're going to have days where you're going to go over, or where you want to live life that doesn't restrict you from being able to have a higher calorie day. So if you know that you're going to have a higher calorie day, do it, accept it, and then just be ready to move on to the next. So point systems, those, they can, like, all these can work. Yes, all of these like visions or views of dieting work, but what will work for the long term? These are just such short-term thoughts. Low carb, for example, like I said, I avoided carbs for that summer of 2012. And the one day that my mom made hot dish and I said I couldn't have it because there were carbs in it. And my dad says, "Eat the damn hot dish," as he slams a big spoonful of it on my plate. And right then and there, I was like, okay, this is not right. I should not be scared of this food. Like, I love hot dish, and I had a short-term vision. That summer, I was like, I need to get super shredded and lean for the lake. And on the opposite end of low carb, there's the low fat, which I've done this as well. What I would do, it was college, sophomore year college. I read somewhere that fat turns into fat. Like, fat is fat, so it's obviously going to store as fat. Even though now I know that fat is so important for hormonal health and balance. So if your hormones are out of whack, your energy levels are going to be out of whack, and you're just going to feel terrible altogether. So what I was doing that sophomore year of college, I'd come back from class, and before I'd go to the gym, I would have a big bowl of rice, and I would also eat sweet and sour sauce on it. So that was like all carbs, and I wouldn't even have protein with that meal for some reason. I don't know why. But for breakfast, I did have a protein bar, a low fat protein bar. So I got protein there, and barely any fat. And then the rice and the sweet and sour was 0 fat. And then I'd go to the gym. I would get my lift in. I would get my cardio in. And then I'd come home, and what I'd have is chicken breast, plain chicken breast with sugar snap peas and white rice again. So that's what I remember. It was chicken or tilapia. So those were the only things that I would have. And when I did eat in the dining center, I just remember getting the chicken breast, cottage cheese, a salad, and some sort of other lean carb that they had there. And the reason why neither one of these low carb or low fat diets worked or stuck with me is because it's not sustainable. It's not realistic. And I honestly didn't get as good of results as I have over the past couple of years, because calorie amounts matter so much more than these macronutrients, which are way less important, but they do play an important part in our health. Because if you track calories consistently and you kind of look at your weekly average, you can make little adjustments based off that. I know tracking can be kind of complicated and annoying at first, but in the end, it is so worth it. With that long-term vision, after tracking for a few years, you just know what is in every piece of food. So that's why I always highly recommend tracking. It doesn't mean you have to track for the rest of your life. But on those days that you don't track, you'll still know that what foods consist of protein and fat, or protein and carbs, just carbs, carbs and fat, and all of those combinations. And the number one, toughest question that I don't like getting asked this question is this healthy? Because what are you comparing it to? Compared to what? Because foods are not either healthy or unhealthy. We need to view them on a spectrum. Like in last week's episode, the never off track mindset should be on a spectrum of 0 to 100. That should be the exact same as like healthy foods or the healthiness of foods, because there's going to be some middle of the road items that have some health benefits but then don't. Like maybe it's high fiber but it also has a lot of sugar, or maybe it's high in saturated fat and has good amount of protein. So there's so many ways to consider something healthy or unhealthy. Do you mean like calorie wise? Do you mean nutrient dense? What do you mean when you ask, is this healthy? If you're asking, is this healthy, you're already thinking that you can't have unhealthy things. So it's good to have a healthier balance of maybe more 80% of your foods be more on the healthy side, like 50 to 100 range. And then if you want to have like the 20% from 0 to 50 range that are the 0 to 50 healthy range. So give yourself a little bit of freedom and flexibility. And this is the exact same thing with clean versions of food as well. So like, what's the difference between clean and what's the difference between healthy? In my eyes, healthy would be nutrient dense, and then clean foods would just be like lean, protein and veggies and healthy fats and just stuff that makes you feel good. Even though we're all different, each and every one of us, our bodies prefer like a different kind of food. Like some of us will respond a lot better to other foods than other people will. So don't just try to eat based on what like you're like a role model. Like for me in the past, Steve Cook, if you know him, look him up. Steve Cook, big time bodybuilder. He was my role model in high school and going into college, and I would try to do exactly what he was doing. I'd eat exactly like he was eating and not like paying attention to my calorie intake, because I was eating like calories based on what he needed, and he was like 220 pounds, so obviously I didn't need as many of those calories, but I couldn't even eat that much food, because when I had the first meal, I remember I had oatmeal and eggs, and it was so filling. I had to like break that up into 2 meals, and I was like, what the heck? Even though I could easily fly through that amount of food now. But the moral of the story is to eat based on how things feel for you and eat based on the progress you have made through tracking. So the reason why we view diets as beginning and end, restricted foods, point systems, low carb, low fat, healthy, or clean is all because of marketing. Like everywhere we look or read, we hear something different, we read something different that's saying this is the key, this is the trick, or you should never eat these 5 foods. Maybe it's an ad that says burn 30 pounds in 30 days. Or even if you just Google like best diets for fat loss, you will come up with so many of them and you won't even know where to start. And also the marketing side of things as far as packaging goes, on the front of packages, you'll see healthy, or you'll see 0 fat, you'll see low carb, you'll see high fiber, all of that good stuff. But it's just all branding. If you're just looking at the front of the box or container and basing the healthiness on that, you're going to struggle. You will struggle. Just commit to learning and understanding how to read a food label and learn what foods are consisted of, and it'll pay off in the long run. So get that long-term vision and start to educate yourself, whether that is through studying or hiring a coach. Cliff Bars are a great example of the packaging thing. So they're branded towards hiking or being healthy, and then there's a Snickers, which is very similar calorie-wise and volume, sugar, all that. They're both going to be basically identical as far as how much fat you burn or how much fat you gain from it, depending on how many calories you have from other food during that day and how many calories you burn through your metabolism, through working out, and all the other methods that you can utilize to burn fat. So stop looking at the front, the branding, the packaging of the foods that you're eating, do not fall for what's on the front of them. Look at the actual nutrition label that has the calories, protein, carbs, fats, fiber, saturated fat, unsaturated fat, all that good stuff. So learn more about that and you will thank yourself later. But the main reason why diets are failing is because we're so used to having the short-term vision for dieting. Just because through marketing and ads that are saying 30 pounds in 30 days, but they never talk about, they show the before and after photos, but they never show the before and after photos, because 95% of those people that did transform their body over those 30 days gain all that weight back, and 1/3 to 2/3 gain even more than what they were at prior to that diet. So we got to open our mind to the bigger picture and start looking long term. I'm going to keep stressing long term. We need to not beat ourselves up over 1 day or 2 days, or even if you have a really rough week. It's going to happen. And just how is your mindset? If you have that never off track mindset where you don't allow your mind to even think that you're off track, like yes, a day might have been off track, but right away you know that next action you take matters. And if you have that clear mindset and vision, nothing can stop you and you'll reap the benefits long term. If you're listening today and you just don't know where to start, I know this can be very overwhelming. I threw a lot of information at you just now, but just think long term, and all I can recommend is start tracking your calories to see where you're at. Work out consistently. Maybe 1 week might only be like 3 workouts a week, but maybe your best weeks are 5 days a week. Awesome. And it's just not allowing yourself to go for an extended period of time without prioritizing your health and fitness. It doesn't mean like every day needs to be super strict, but every action does matter. So educate yourself, invest in yourself, and you will see the best results of your entire life, and you will be able to maintain them. So that is the advice I have. Educate and invest in yourself. So we're going to end the podcast on that note. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day and get your workout in. Thank you so much for listening today. If you're getting value out of the podcast and want to work closely with me on how to build the body of your dreams by balancing life and fitness, as well as become a part of the absolute best fitness community out there, what I want you to do is go to my Instagram at HarrisonZFit and DM me with the words Fit Party. My mission in life is simple: to help others find the best version of themselves while enjoying all aspects of life. We'll see you in the next episode.